Hello everyone and welcome back to another Build and Babble. Today I built my first modern house in SULANI, which I'm actually super proud of. I didn't think this would happen because if you watched my previous speed build, I said that I was a bit intimidated to build in SULANI and nothing has changed. I'm still intimidated. I guess it's because first, the world is really beautiful, and second, everyone's building really cute houses in SULANI, and the more traditional builds that you can do, I don't know, they're totally out of my comfort zone, so I'm always building and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. So for this speed build, I was actually like, okay, Cora, just, build something you think you're better at, which is modern. Like, I feel way better with modern builds than traditional ones, so I thought I'd build this and it came out really pretty, I think. So you let me know if you like it as well. Also, heads up, one thing. I stole one idea from Louise Gravy. She's a wonderful builder, and I saw her build like a, was it bar? I think really cute. It was kind of modern, it felt really open. It's super gorgeous. I'll link that video in the description because it's my favorite build in SULANI so far. It's so pretty. But she came up with this idea to put palm trees into these little pots for like the potted plant pot things. What are they called? I don't know. Planters. Yes, planters, that's the word. I'm so proud of myself. But she had that idea to put palm trees in there, and I might have stolen that idea for this build because I thought it was really cute and I was like, I want to include that, so I did. But it wasn't my idea, just letting you know that. But anyways, if I sound a bit off today, it's literally so hot here, like, it's 36 degrees, which is almost, I just checked, 97 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's just a mess. I don't feel well, okay? I feel really dizzy. I'm not hungry, which is not at all like me. I'm usually always hungry and always fancying food, but no, it's too hot for that today. So I'm not feeling my best, so if I'm a bit slow with thinking, or even more slow than usual, a bit more confused than usual, that's gonna be why, because it's just hot and it doesn't seem to cool down and it's getting on my nerves. Actually, tomorrow it's only gonna be 26 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. You could check if you want to. Maybe around 80, 85. I have no idea. Fahrenheit confuses me. But whatever. Let's get into the topic because otherwise this video is over and I've been talking about the weather and nothing else, and I'm sure you don't want to hear me talk about the weather. So what I actually got planned for today's Build and Babble is talk about my wish list for The Sims 5, because if you're someone that watches a few of my videos, you might have already heard that I'm not the biggest Sims 4 fan, and I know there's a lot of people that love The Sims 4. Often to me it seems like it's a lot of younger people that it's the first game for them. So if I remember my time when I played the first ever Sims game when I was really young, no one can say anything bad about that game. It was great. But I guess it's just what you grow up with that you like, and you're not as judgmental about stuff. You kind of just take it and you're like, oh, this is great and I can do this and this. But I guess as you get older, or at least for me it was the case, I got a bit more critical with things. And then also I feel like The Sims 4 doesn't add as much to the game as the previous games did. Obviously it looks way better, but that is due to times change. The first game came out in like 2000, so hey, we came a long way with The Sims. But don't get me wrong, I still love The Sims 4, especially for building. I never used to build in other in the previous Sims games, so for building I actually don't have anything that I would like to add to The Sims 4 apart from just fixing some things with the roofs, giving us maybe a few more things that we could do with terrains and all of that stuff. I really hope, fingers crossed, that in The Sims 5 more things will be included when they release the pack, so we don't have the drama of not having toddlers for a year or a year and a half or whatever. That was a mess. I want it to be a complete game. I want pools, I want to be able to use terrain tools, and I want to have toddlers. That actually gets us into the first into the first point I got. I'm so smooth today. Wow. Smooth aging. Smooth. Wow, Cora, I'm a genius. Anyways, so smooth aging, which I call something that I would like to see the aging not happening like is currently, where you have to have a birthday and then your Sims suddenly age from toddler into a child or baby into a toddler or whatever, I would like to see smooth aging so that you could still have birthdays, obviously, but I would like it to be more of a they gradually get taller and like learn new things, but I'm sure that will not be, maybe not ever be a thing in The Sims because it seems like a really big thing to include, but that would literally be the dream. Like imagine your toddlers just all of a sudden, hold on to things and pull themselves up on it and then eventually get taller and like, I don't know, it's just so cute, isn't it? Is it just me? I want that. But anyways, that would be super cool if we would have that. I would also like the different age groups to be a bit more distinct from each other. I would like to have a lot more activities for Sims. I would like the toddlers to sometimes be a bit more independent, like maybe just walking around and listening to their parents, and then they gain, I don't know, is it called the speaking skill? What is that? Talking skill. It's talking, isn't it? Oh my god. But anyways, I would like to see that, if they learn some things a bit more by themselves without the parents actually having to sit down all the time and teaching them stuff, because I feel like in real life it's a lot of just copying. Like kids tend to copy a lot of stuff and learn that way, and it would be cool to see that in The Sims, at least I think so. Also, I would like The Sims to have more distinct traits. I would love to see if there were tons of traits, like way more than we currently have in The Sims 4. More how it was in The Sims 3, where you had so many traits and you could pick 5 or 6, I think it was 5 traits for your Sims, which I need. I can't just make a Sim with 3 traits, and I don't get why that is a thing in The Sims 4. But I would love if our Sims were a bit more, like if you actually put the autonomy. Is it called autonomy? Oh my god, I'm so sorry, I'm confused today. If you put that on, I would like the Sims to actually do things that are according to their traits. If they love music, they now sometimes play something or whatever, but I'd like it to be way more distinct for each personality, and like get that in consideration, that they're not just friendly and then sit around and watch TV all day if you let them do what they want, but like act accordingly to their traits, I guess, if that makes sense. And it would, for me personally, it would be so cool if the whims that you get, so the little wishes that your Sims have that they want to do, if they were depending way more on the traits, because currently in The Sims 4, and I've said this before, I think the whims are so boring. Like, I wish they also had like crushes where you don't need to actively get them into the situation, but where they have maybe a little moodlet where they have a crush on a certain person and you didn't actively, interact with that person. And because then I feel like you wouldn't have to, I think the storytelling would just get easier if things were a bit more, I don't know. I feel like The Sims 4 is missing the flow, It would be really cool if the whims were actually like, depending on what The Sims is like and certain things they like or dislike. In The Sims 3, or was it 2? They had fears. I think it was The Sims 2 where they had fears, and it was so cool. Like they'd be scared of certain things because they had a certain trait, and it just felt so much more complete. Or the midlife crisis that were in The Sims 3, I believe. All of that just felt like my Sims were actually alive, whilst now it just feels like they're all the same. They're really like cookie cutter. Is that what you say? Tried to use a new saying here. I hope it worked. But they all just seem like they're pretty much the same Sim. They just look different and have different traits, but they act the same way. They want the same stuff, and it's kind of boring. I'd also like if random townies in the world would kind of come up to your Sim and interact with them, but not just in a friendly manner, when they just come up to you and talk. I would like if Sims in bars and stuff actually get flirted at, because I have never seen that. Maybe it does happen. Does that happen? It never happened to me. Maybe my Sims are just not attractive. I don't know. But that would be so cool if the little interaction would come up, and then maybe you can agree to it or decline it. If you had a little pop-up and it said, well, I'd like to get to know you or something, and then you could agree to it or not if you want to. Also, I need to get a bit faster now. I'd also like to see open worlds, or at least semi-open, where you have at least your neighborhood, like you can at least go to the houses. And if we get an apartment pack for The Sims 5, I definitely need to be able to visit the apartments without going through a loading screen, because otherwise what's the point of having apartments? It feels so closed up if you can't just knock on your neighbor's door and go in without having to go through a loading screen. Like, for me personally, that kind of ruined apartment living, because it was just so, I don't know, it's just such a hustle to then meet your neighbor. So I was kind of like, you know what, I'm not even gonna bother. But yeah, with that said, I'd also like some color wheels, especially for the genetics. So like the skin color, the hair color, the eye color, you know, all of that stuff I'd like a color wheel for, because there's so many different skin colors and hair colors and eye colors that for me it feels really restricted and not very versatile and open, and like you're not able to get everyone's skin and hair tone if you don't give us a color wheel for that. So for these things, and I've heard a few people say that already, that they'd like to see that as well, so that would be cool if we could get that in The Sims 5. And also the genetics, is it just me or are my genetics always messed up? Like my kids never, almost never, sometimes they look exactly like their parents, which is also a bit odd, but I guess it happens in real life too. But most of the times they don't look like either of the parents, or like, is it just me? My Sims turn out so crazy. They never look like their parents, and I don't know what's wrong. I'd like for them to improve the genetics so that our kids actually turn out looking the way their parents do, because I thought that's how, I mean, obviously not always, but, or like a mix out of both, but for some reason to me it feels like the genetics are really messed up, especially that no chin problem that a few people have, where the kids just don't have a chin. It's so weird. Like, I don't understand what happens there. I'm not sure how the genetics work, and I'm sure it would be a big deal to fix it, but I would personally love that, because that would make the game a bit more interesting for me. I think I covered all of the main things. One more thing that I'm gonna squeeze in here is that I'd like to see more active stuff, like active careers, but for kids, I'd like to see them, I like to go to school with them, just because I feel so detached from my kids, my Sims kids, because they're always in school without me, and it's just not fair. I want to come. I hate school, but I still want to go with them. And like to after school activities, it would just be really cool, and it would get me into like getting to know my Sims kids, I guess. But anyways, with that said, if you like this build, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you have not already, and I'll see you in Friday's video. Bye!